EU joins China on trade war. Trump faces a big blow. Chinese President Xi Jinping has urged the European Union to join Beijing in forming a strategic alliance against what he labeled as Washington's protectionist economic agenda. Meeting with Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, she emphasized the need to uphold multilateralism and fair globalization, targeting U.S. tariffs introduced by former President Trump. The call for deeper EU-China cooperation comes amid rising economic tensions between Washington and Beijing, with China recently retaliating with steep tariffs on American goods. Prime Minister Sánchez backed Xi's appeal for intercontinental cooperation, framing China as a vital partner in addressing global issues such as trade barriers, climate change, and inequality. His visit to Beijing underscored Europe's shifting geopolitical interests as Sánchez promoted a collaborative model with Asia. This stance, however, triggered sharp criticism from Washington, where U.S. officials accused Madrid of undermining Europe's long-term security in favor of short-term economic gain. Despite U.S. objections, Sánchez stressed Spain's independent foreign policy and defended Europe's right to pursue sovereign trade decisions. This diplomatic balancing act reveals a growing divide within the EU itself, with some nations leaning toward closer ties with China, while others, like Italy, reaffirm allegiance to the United States. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is scheduled to visit Trump in Washington, signaling continued support for transatlantic unity. The EU's evolving posture is further highlighted by an upcoming summit with Xi Jinping in Beijing, marking 50 years of EU-China relations. The unusual decision to hold the summit in China signals a deepening of bilateral cooperation in trade, green energy, and digital infrastructure. She praised Spain's foreign policy independence and welcomed Europe's interest in mediating major global conflicts, including the Ukraine war. Sánchez's broader Asia tour, which also included Vietnam, reflects Spain's intent to diversify trade and lessen dependency on the U.S. Meanwhile, EU leaders have been briefed about these engagements, indicating a cautiously coordinated strategy. With global power dynamics shifting, Europe faces a complex challenge: sustaining security ties with the U.S. while expanding economically in Asia. How the EU navigates this dual-track diplomacy will shape its future geopolitical identity.